So a little update here on the Bush TV62 that I said was many years ago bought as working, and when I didn't buy this, as I explained in the first video. I'll put a link in the description to the first video if you wanted to have a look at that. I won't go into all the details again, but as you can see, I've done quite a bit of rewiring in some nice new rubber kind of silicone cable to try and match the old rubber cable that was on. Put a new electrolytic smoothing capacitor on it because that was low in capacity, was nowhere near where it should be, and it was the original one. I believe it was dated 1957, September 1957. So that's tidied the wire, and I'll give you a quick look underneath the chassis. There again, this was where all that kerfuffle of mastic or sealant, the silicone sealant, had all been put in, and all the wire had just rubber cable had just perished. So I rewired all that, sorted it all out, gone through the set, just checking where the capacitors are and seeing that they're all in the right order, and I think they are. It all looks good like that, because I haven't. I have changed a few that hadn't been changed, but the vast majority had been changed by somebody in the past. But I've certainly tidied all the wire up, put a new mains cable there onto the switch as well, because that was absolutely, well, that was all the rubber cable had perished, and it was bare wires. So no wonder I was getting a dead short when I tried continuity across the mains plug. So we've just tidied it up. I'm not going overboard with this set. You know, this is not one of my restorations or repairs. As I say, somebody had done this before me. I'm just basically trying to make it safe. I'm going to see, you know, I'm getting to the stage now where I can put the two, it is a split chassis. This is the main kind of power chassis, and I'm going to got the RF chassis over there. And I've done a little bit of rewiring to that. There again, the old rubber cable had all perished. One or two new capacitors in there as well. And I'm now going to sort of fit the chassis back and get all connected up and have a bit of a switch on and see how we go. Hello and welcome back. Just a very small video of an update of interest. I did a video, I think it was a couple of weeks ago now, where I was looking at this supposedly sold as restored Bush TV62, a vintage television from the mid to late 50s. And I said how I'd found it. You know, somebody had, the rubber wiring inside, there's often a lot of rubber wiring in these Bush and televisions of that period, and obviously it's got warm and it's got brittle over the years. The rubber coating has perished and dropped off and leaving bare wire. And somebody, in an attempt to restore this set, had just tried to put some insulation back over the bare wires with mastic, which I've got parts of it here. I mean, that's just a small part of what I pulled off in the end. You can see for a set that has supposedly been restored, I've got quite a few parts here, and if you have a look, this is not all of it by a long way, but some of the state of the rubber insulated cable in this set, and you can see it. It's I mean, highly dangerous. Obviously, no wonder I was getting a direct short across the mains lead, because two of those, the red and the black, were going to the on-off switch and straight from the mains, plug at the back of the set, running through the back of the set and touching the chassis as well. And there's very little insulation on that. And a handful more of wax capacitors, just to say, just a few. And I've changed the electrolytics for good measure because they were getting very low. And some more electrolytics that have got nothing left or any life whatsoever left in them. And the more I worked on this set, and you know, I wasn't going to do a massive restoration on it. I wasn't going to spend hours on it. I think I said before, you know, the basic was it was a repair to get it up to a safe standard to be able to run and hopefully work. You never know. Was the tube all right? I had never seen it work. The chap that bought it had never seen it work because he hadn't got an Aurora converter. So there was no way he could ever switch it on or would want to. Anyway, I thought I'd show you the set and some progress. I'll tell you another little story in a minute and why this is the set has. I've had the set switched on before. This is not the first switch on, unfortunately. I was filming the first switch on, but that didn't really go according to plan. But I'll give you a look at the set working now, hopefully, touching wood, he says, and then come back and just fill you in a little bit more. So one problem I had with this set is, as you can see, it gives a reasonable picture. I'm convinced that is the original CRT, the original tube of the set. I have no reason to doubt looking at the labels on there, and it wants a little bit more, you know, leveling up and picture centering and all the rest of it. Yeah, this is I only got the set put back in the chassis yesterday, and this is really the first day it's worked. I've had it on for about an hour now, and it smells lovely in here if you like the smell of vintage television, because it's nice and warm with all those valves and the back's still off. But being, you know, not the brightest of spark myself, I you know, went right through the set, checked everything out that had been done, replaced a lot more myself, replaced that dodgy wiring. Thought, right, we'll insert back into the cabinet and try, you know, switch it on, which I did. I got line whistle, I got sound, but no raster. The screen was black as, you know. So I thought, oh, I'm sure I'm, you know, getting EHT there. So I thought, what do I do? So I thought, well, there's lots more tests I can do on this. And of course, being a numpty, I got tired last night, and by 7:30, you know, I'd had enough, and I thought, oh, I'm going to switch it off and go, you know, think about this and have a look at the data, you know, and go and have a look. And why I think this set had never worked, probably from the day somebody switched it off. I mean, 405 line television finished in January 1985. I think it's had a hard life. I think it's worked probably right close up to that day, looking at how inside the set. But to say, being a total numpty, I woke up this morning and thought, well, hang on. There's no ion, that's I-O-N, ion trap magnet on the tube. It's never going to give you a picture. Now, won't bore you to death with what an ion trap magnet does, because I could ramble on here for days and probably confuse myself in the process. But I'll just show you. This is, I will when the set's off and it's more safe. I'll turn the set round and just show you what this thing looks like. But just as a guide, if I put my hand in and turn that, look, right, picture gone. That is just moving that little iron trap magnet. Can we get it back? There we come. And obviously you can move it around the screen and you can alter the brightness, you can alter the picture by that little collar on the end of the cathode ray tube. And of course it didn't have one on there. Luckily I had a spare bush one and put it on this morning, and picture come on straight away. Obviously, you know, when you're restoring anything, always look for the easiest fault first. You know, obviously that was a classic on my part. You know, I like to tell people of my failings as well as my successes. And, you know, I would have never got a picture without that little iron trap magnet on the back there. So, you know, I felt a bit of a fool, but there you go. You know, I don't do that many televisions these days, and you do, you know, it's a bit like anything you do when you know when you get used to doing it day in, day out. But this is a good, they were a good set in my view. These were. I've knocked it slightly, moving that iron trap. I've knocked it slightly off focus a little bit now, moved the screen. But these are a usable vintage television in my view, you know, particularly if you find one without a cathode heater short and a good tube, you know, and I shall progress on and clean. The cabinet is there again for somebody that's sold this as a resort set. It's full of little paint spots. So I shall clean all the Bakelite up, and I might put, I won't do any voiceover on it, but I might put a little bit of, you know, actual moving picture, a little last video in a week or so's time, just when I've got it nicely set up and all, you know, it's been on soak test and been running. So there we go, that's the Bush TV 62. Nice the fact that it's the components, the capacitors are dated at September 1957. So what's that? That makes it what, 66 years old, doesn't it? Amazing. And the little bit I was meaning about is this little band here, which you can turn about. I'm not going to move it too much because I shall knock it out of kilter again. But this little band here is the iron trap magnet. And obviously the set had, which obviously fits on the end of the tube. Some tubes have a little arrow where you place this, makes it easier and gives you a bit more alignment to know where to put it, and then you can jiggle it for the best picture. But obviously this was totally missing off this set, and obviously I won't go, so I mustn't, you know, I'm going to try and keep this brief, so I won't go into what that does. But as you can see, without that, and when I turn it off kilter, you get a blank, no raster on the screen. So it's that critical. And obviously, you know, that's the reason when I switched it on last night, there was I couldn't get a raster up on the screen, and a very basic, silly mistake on my part. But yeah, it's a nice set. And as I say, I'm sure it worked, which is no detriment to it, and has probably done it some more favours really, because, and it's obviously been kept inside, I think, because these RF chassis this one has started slightly. These I've seen these can go, we look at it there, these can go extremely rusty on some sets you see of this model, but this one isn't too bad. And I'm sure it was kept working, you know, quite late on into its life. Which is always a plus, and so I'm delighted with it. There we go. So as always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch up with you with another video very soon. Until that point in time, my best wishes, and thank you to all the new subscribers, and please like, do comment. Love getting your comments. I do try and answer as many as I can, and thank you to everyone, and see you very soon, and bye for now.